The orc sees that he is not hostile and tries to negotiate. He is definitely one of those who does not want senseless sacrifices and behaves with dignity even in such a difficult situation. The protagonist asked, "Is someone chasing him?" The orc asked. In surprise, how does a man know the great language? Indeed, he is right, he is being chased. Tison said he wants to help. Does he believe him? Thurk replied, he knows the great language, which means he is like a brother to him and he senses his truth. True kinness with all his soul, but helping him can put him at risk too. The protagonist thought, what an expressive speech. He haces. He really one of the nobles, he said with a smile. He has enough strength to help, let him believe him. He began to seeth ability and created a magic portal. The orc asked in surprise. Is he also a magician? Tison asked, is that really strange? He replied, with such a body he accepts his help with gratitude. Suddenly mercenaries appeared, who said discontentedly, how much trouble for a couple of silver coins. Bry called out, oh. The protagonist and asked with a serious face, has a small orc passed by here? The second mercenary shouted, Huel, give him gold if he tells. He asked, discontentedly, what other gold? The mercenary answered with a smile, let him calm down, he will not get anything, they will just find out the information and move on. Tison said, with a calm face. He did not see anyone. Another mercenary looked at the ground and said, there are orc tracks. BRGHT said, that means he is there. The protagonist thought, basic magic, did not even clean the tracks. He said, this is his home actually. He will not let them in, just like that. Brig asked. Aggressively, was he crazy? How dare some idiot from the wilderness get in their way? There are more than a dozen of them. What is there to be afraid of? The mercenary said, this man is kind of strange. Bright asked. Stop fussing, let him get out of the way. Did he understand? He thinks he's a total muscle man, right? It's all nonsense. A kid is a kid. The protagonist remembered his mentor saying that his fists were a dangerous tool. Just one hit, and he could easily take a life. Let him show mercy to the weak. For someone with strength in his fists, a weapon will help him. Tison took out Abaton and said with a sly smile, let them not be afraid, at least they won't die from a blow from this. He thought that Indestructible Jim focused on the art of barehanded combat, but that didn't mean it didn't include handling weapons. Mercenaries started screaming furiously, did this idiot take a baton? Was he really going to attack? Was he pretending to be a great fighter or something? The protagonist started hitting everyone with a baton and thought the teachings allowed the use of weapons, but not for the purpose of real combat, but more for the education of students. However, they are still mercenaries who earn their living with a sword. It specializes in attacking the enemy's body, and it doesn't even have a defensive movements. It's all about offense. Suddenly one of the mercenaries struck him in the back with a sword, beaut in an instant. The metal weapon bent. The protagonist hit him in bewilderment and thought the blade didn't penetrate him at all. Is this really a human body? He knows that it belongs to him, but this is too much. The best thing about this technique is that it doesn't aim to kill the enemy, and since they won't die, there's no point in worrying. Even if their joints are torn or their bones are broken, they won't die. No deaths, no matter what happens, they won't die. Brojed, in fear. What's his name? Let him speak, Tison said. It seems he hasn't figured out yet how to behave. It's not fair that he's whole while his friends are already praying to their ancestors. The protagonist dealt a couple more blows, and the mercenaries began to leave. He looked at the broken club and said he had warmed up. Well, it was even a pity that it was all over already. He wondered if maybe he should get some students himself so that he would have someone to beat. He seems to have unconsciously become imbued with the philosophy of the indestructible Jimid. That time an orc came out and bowing his head and kneeling thanked him and said he would not forget this until the end of his days, and he would definitely repay his kindness. Tison asked if it was proper for a warrior to bow his head so easily. He replied that he had saved his life and even made him look at things in a new way. He was his mentor of his whole life. When the time came, he would definitely dedicate his sword to him. The protagonist thought, in Orish culture, a mentor of life is someone they honor, something like a knight's oath. If we speak in human language, the orc asked if he could know his name. The protagonist answered with a smile, his name is Renart. The orc said nobly, he will remember this name. He said the world belongs to people. Where will he go next? What is his final goal? he answered. Their continent is huge. He is sure there will be a safe place for him, and if not, he would rather die a free wanderer than become a slave, the protagonist said, south of the Laird. In mountains, 2 weeks walk away, there is an aimless wasteland, his people call it, the land of trials. Let him set foot there, the orcs of the Blue Bear tribe hide there. Well, now it is time for him to go. The orc started to run, and Satan. He went to the protagonist, shouted, what is his name? He shouted, he is Thesan, of Krot, the heir to the axe of Lot. His name is Tahad. The protagonist thought in surprise, one of the 4 heavenly kings. The great warrior Tahad. He was the head of the Blue Bear tribe, and later, led all the orcs, on thick continent. Could the real Thesan also have met him in his past life? Given his personality, he would hardly have extended a helping hand to an orc. That was definitely a fateful meeting. The protagonist remembered all his friends and said that he hoped that they would meet again. His friends, his family, are the descendants of great warriors. After some time, the protagonist thought half a year had passed since that strange meeting with Tahid. At this time, the mentor furiously used the ability of an air bullet and shouted, let him bite. Thesan, frightened, used the vortex guard technique and said, this is too much. Gerard happily said, this is very good. His vortex guard is beyond praise, but Haremimums as if it were yesterday. How, after another scolding, he whined about the fact that he was some kind of Reifenhart, and not Thesan. The protagonist asked why. Remember what happened years ago? The mentor said that it had been years since he had started teaching him. He had become much stronger than he had been at the beginning. But why was he still so small? Thesan asked in confusion. What did he mean he was almost tall? Gerard shouted furiously. This is all nonsense. The member of the indestructible gym must exceed the indicator of M. Did he really follow the breathing technique? He taught him correctly. The protagonist thought about it. However, the real Thesan was really about tall, he said. That build is not that important, the protagonist thought with displeasure. Is he crazy? Will definitely not get taller than he is now, no matter what. If he starts breathing like he was taught, he will not be able to fit through any doorway. The mentor said that he is quite strong, even for such a small body. Okay, it's time, Tasha. What he can do? Thesan flew into the air and used the 4th stage of the Horn of Disaster. In an instant, all Thais in the area collapsed. Gerard laughed happily and shouted, this is excellent. No, it will definitely not be easy to defeat him, the protagonist thought, with a smile on his face. He did it. He has really reached the 4th stage. The teacher said it was time for him to go to the outside world. He has worked very hard now. He is free to live the way he wants. He doesn't care who he becomes, a hero or a villain. Let him live the way he sees fit. This is a reward for all his efforts. Years ago, Master Rossel, the 3rd king of martial arts, told him something. Gerard remembered him, saying, "Gleet him. Remember 3 things first. Making money is good, but you shouldn't get involved in dishonest things." He asked, in confusion. "What do you mean?" He said that he doesn't mind him being a villain. Rao said, "If he wants to become Yon, let him become a worthy villain. He must have style after all," Gerard said. In confusion, what kind of strange notions are these about villains? Razel said. Second, whenever possible, let him talk each side of those who have been treated unfairly. After all, it's better when those around you appreciate and respect you. Isn't it? Gerard asked. Does he mean? The Rastal replied, weakness is not always a result of unfair treatment. After all, the world is already full of those weaker than him. He should be able to distinguish them right. Thirdly, and most importantly, let him carry the teachings of the indestructible gym to the masses and let him make sure that it is not interrupted at present. The mentor said he will need to find a student to whom he will pass on their great techniques. Did he understand now? The protagonist replied. He will keep this in mind. Gerard threw him a bag and said with a smile, let him know that finding a talented student is not easy. He can spend almost this entire life on this still. If such an opportunity one day presents itself, let them not miss it. Let him take this here is money for the journey, and plus his clothes. Thesan asked in bewilderment. Did only silver? He thought that he had become rich in the kingdom of Vasili. Doesn't he have his own estate in the capital? He expected much more, although this is half of a commoner's annual salary. Gerard said with a smiley. Payment for those who graduated was set by the clan. This was also raised due to inflation in his time. It was silver. He prepared a small gift for him in the Settlard Mountains. There is a mark on the map, so he will figure it out. Let him definitely look there if he is nearby. After a while, the protagonist set off and turning around thought, will Harali leave these mountains? Is he finally free? Suddenly a powerful magic beam appeared, and the mentor thought leave the student's step. He should not be sad about partying, let him carry a steely determination. With a thecitation after all, he is the heir to the greatest techniques on this earth. After a while the man called out to the village. Chief-en said excitedly, "This is dangerous," he replied. "He must say what he must, even if they are aristocrats." With a serious face, "What is the matter?" the village chief said. He asks him to pay for the food provided to him and his knights. He threw the coin in with a displeased face and said, "That should be enough," Edward thought with a grin. He was probably seeing a ducat for the first time. The headman said excitedly, "That was too little." He shouted furiously, "What an insolent man he was. He thinks that because he is an aristocrat, he does not know market prices. How dare he deceive a knight?" Edward hit him with wild fury. The headman thought, with a displeased face, "They are more bandits, the knights. They occupied their house, ate up their supplies, and all this for 1 ducat, and that's without taking into account delivery services and other errands." Stefan suddenly called out to him and asked with a smile, what was the matter? Edward replied that he should not take height to his head. He said with a calm smile what pathetic peasants they were. "That is we. You can't be kind to peasants, they do not know their place at all." After a while, Reinhardt is lying in bed with Cirrus. He asked with a smile, "Why does she keep caressing him?" She replied, "Chegus wants to do it." Riefenhar asked what is so attractive about his frail body. Cirrus answered with a smile, "His features are so sharp and chiseled like a fine blade," he said. That's how he looked before. But now, at this time, the protagonist looked out the window and said, "Cirrus is now about years old. It seems that in human years it is years old." He thought about it now. He is in Chrome, a town south of the kingdom of Vili. She will be sold next year at Theslav auction of Chatan. He asked, with a thoughtful look. What should he do? Maybe should smash this auction to hell and rescue her? No. If he acts recklessly now, it will be difficult for him to restore his magical powers. It is better to solve the money issue for now, Tisan thought about it. The price for the elf is simply cosmic, and he is a beggar now, but never mind, he has a powerful body, Technicus, and also knowledge of the future. And by the way, on the way to Chan, there are just some ancient ruins. After some time, Stepan called out to Todd and asked, had he not yet found out where those ancient ruins were? He, using the ability, said Lethem, "Please wait a little longer." Todd, years old, a mage of the Delia Magic Tower, specializing in archaeology. After some time, Stefan looked out the window and asked, "Is this it, right?" Todd answered, "That everything is correct. One famous swordsman is buried here, Claude." At this time, the main character setting off thought this place is day's journey from Crom. He needs to move north to the Hatton Mountains along the sea road. His endurance itself is incredible, so he still doesn't catch a cold. What an amazing body. In general, he heard that a true king of martial arts can walk topless even in winter, but he doesn't want to check artificial return, a special technique of all times, which allows him to resurrect memories in any period of time. He used this ability to return memories of the ancient ruins at the foot of the Hatton Mountains. Even before his regression, there was such a magician, Todd, whom he met in the Magic Tower of Dela, told how he discovered these ruins, together with Stefan in his past life. He himself was there, and he managed to find jewel treasures that Todd's comrades missed. He sold them all for more than gold. This is very profitable. After some time, he saw a populated area in front of him, and said, "This is the village of cattle. So far everything is this." He remembers at this time the villagers asked, what should they do now? They can't even get close to the Valley of Death, but they require a guide. Do they know what will happen if they refuse their offer? Another resident answered, "Even the headman is not in that position now. How tired he is of these vile nobles." Another villager, Sadix, "Let him be quiet, because the others might hear." Ted, holding a bow and arrow in his hands, said that he would go and knows the mountains better than anyone in the village, and he also knows that he is the most suitable candidate. His wife and daughter ran up to him and started crying. The villagers started saying he can hand it Everyone should do what they can do. Ted thought about it now. He didn't want to go even more suddenly. The protagonist crashed into the window and said he can go if they don't want to. Ted fearfully aimed at him and asked who he was. Tison answered he was just passing by, and it so happened that he overheard their conversation. He wondered how could one accidentally walk into private property. One of the villagers asked. With a serious face, does he know the way well? The protagonist answered with a smile, he knows the way very well. He asked, is he still volunteering? Tison answered, that's right, Becca's. He had been there many times before. The man said, he doesn't know if he knows, but no one who has been to the Valley of Death has ever returned from there. Is he sure of his choice? The protagonist said with a smile. He's already been there, he thought. Let them just thank him. He's trying for them. The Valley of Death is essentially a dungeon, a relic of the past. The remains of the Silver Era. Years ago, there was a knight from the alien family named Claude. At the age of he was able to awaken the aura. He went through many adventures, and legends about him circulated for a long time throughout the kingdom of Vasily. But fame often breeds arrogance. Claude decided to go to the Valley of Death with only one squire and died. The problem is that the demonic word alien that he took with him remained there. This weapon was the symbol of their family and was passed down from generation to generation. This sword was searched for almost years. After some time, all the knights set off. The protagonist thought he must be Claude's grandson. LSUS said with admiration, he is so noble he doesn't even need a horse as expected from Thebest. Knight Stefan said with a smile. He is pleased to hear it, even lifts his spirits. Tison thought. In bewilderment, this is an elf slave. They are probably having fun with her. There is only one holy warrior in this squad. I think his name is Silin. He looks so young. Does he even know how to use the blessing properly? And in general, is he really a guy? He should try to talk to Todd, but these two are talking about Simithing. Although he talked non-stop even at a young age, what is this atmosphere between them? Wait, can he really feel it? No way. Todd is a cool guy. This definitely can't be. Suddenly Edward called out to him and said this is a wise choice. Tison asked. Does he mean showing the way? In truth, it's just a trifle, he replied. That's true, but the villagers were so afraid to take on the task. The protagonist said no wonder they were afraid. Edward asked, what's so scary when they are accompanied by brave Imperial knights? The protagonist thought with a displeased face, oh, these knights, it seems that there really is no knight in the world who would not be cocky. Hively really does corrupt people. Suddenly a large number of monsters jumped out of the forest. Stefan shouted, they are under attack, let everyone get ready. How dare they attack them? People blessed by Seer, let them listen to the knight's order. Todd used the ability Fire Chain and hit several opponents. This time Silon shouted with a serious face, let Lord Fence grant them strength and courage. In an instant, all the knights had a surge of strength. Tison, watching the battle, thought this is not bad, especially this Stefan. He is better than, he thought, well, from the point of view of a magician of course, but from the point of view of a practitioner of martial arts, they are rather pitiful. Teacher Gerard at least does not brag for no reason. In any casino one pays attention to him. Suddenly a flying monster flew at him, but the protagonist destroyed the enemy with a slight movement of his hand. Tison thought, if the story of Todd's adventures is true, that guy died.